Hello and welcome to part number 2 regarding the buy low and sell high amongst the ticker symbol exchange combo of DOGE or DOGE or however you wish to pronounce it against BTC or Bitcoin. As I did my last video where I totally forgot to have the microphone plugged in, let me check to see if this one is right now. And it is. That 40 plus minute video didn't go through, but it's just more or less the same of everything that you were seeing anyway. And I had progressed up until January when it got up to this 100. So the sell order that hit at 100 was the last play, and I had a buy order waiting at 58, 43, 32, 23 and 15 at that time. I mean, why such a big spread difference? Because the market was shooting up at that time. Big time. I'm looking to get in very, very cheap after selling at the 100. But we're going to go over the data still. I got the spreadsheet data. I got a chart for how you would be doing against the market. So then, let's take a look at the spreadsheet. But before we do that, let's take a look at how the statistics that I was showing would look after the last sell order done on right here at 100. And let's bring the statistics up now. The last trade would have been a selling 37,000 of them there. That would reduce the inventory from 340,000 down to 303. The net buys at this point were 1.5 million plus, selling over 1.25 million of them. The net amount that I purchased them for was 0.84 in this game, of course. Selling less for more, because I got plus 12 more on the return, even though I bought more than I sold. Net average cost 54 on the buy, 76 on the sell. That's a differential of 22 basis points. And you need 11 to make 10%, so that's about a 20% return on average trade. 40% rather. No, you need 11 for 20%. So a 40% return on average trade. Yeah, I was going to say 20% is just way too low. 40% is about right. Open buys. You started off in this game putting in 0.10 at 100 Satoshi, but the price would decline and the value of your portfolio would as well at the time. So you kept on putting more and more and more in, and it ended up being this number for now. With the positive results, you'd have a portfolio worth 0.3 Bitcoin on 303,000 of the DOGEs. Again, you invested 0.1 and added 0.05 more. It's worth twice as much as you would have invested. Plus, you've already returned almost twice as much as well. 0.276. That would be what your balance would be worth after it's all said and done. So that's pretty good. You'd have a DOGE account worth 0.3. You'd have 0.57 or 0.27 Bitcoin. So that would work out to 0.58 together, starting with 15. That's why you'd be up 272.31% at that time. And those are pretty good gains for a market that's going sideways, considering this would have been your entry price. Now, since this point, I haven't done the data since. It's obvious a note that if the price was here and now it's at 46, you're down. But you're not. You have nowhere near lost anywhere close to half your value. Not even maybe. No, not even. But you're down. That's just how it goes. But on the choppy action, you're going to see your portfolio very choppy within such, but in a good, positive way. I drew these lines in basically stating, obviously you're buying down here, big, or whatever, you're just buying for sure. obviously you have to sell the peaks. Maybe you buy here and sell here, I stated. You're definitely buying here. Then you have this high. So how many sell orders did you hit on your high? Did you get 1 or 2? And you'd be buying back now. That's how the game would be playing in, as of course you were seeing in the first video. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet and just quickly go through all the trades from start to finish, or to Christmas time last year. And the reason why I ended it at this time was because I was literally just getting exhausted. It was like a 40+ minute video that I did, and so be it. And you know what? I'm kind of glad it worked out that way, because you don't need to see more of the exact same stuff you were seeing. You can see it in a data perspective here. So this is the start of everything. Your original trades were like 14,000, then you're making 20,000 moves, 30,000. So as we can see, 40,000, 30, these numbers went higher, your trade numbers, which was what it's about, because of course you were able to just increase your portfolio. So just scrolling through here, anything that of significant notice. Here's a spot where you sold. I don't know if this was shown in the first video or not, but you sold all the way up to 121, 57 all the way to 121. Your first buyback 73. Continuing further, we can see here that it would buy back down to 17. Your portfolio's down. I'll show a chart of your portfolio after this, but got all the way down to this point. You can see you're buying 65,000. You can see the amounts that you're able to purchase. This is all buy orders in a row, like just crazy. 73, 57, 48, 40, 33, 26, and 17. That was after all these selling, but you notice that 121, you want a very good buy order to start. That was the case. Now, if you knew, oh, well, 121, why don't you just wait till it gets down to like 17 and then just buy it all there? Well, if you know, you know. That's why I'm making or talking about this strategy, because if you don't know, I'm just going to execute buys and sells in this mannerism. So after this, first sell, 29. Difference of 12 basis points on 17. Whenever you go on a major buy order onslaught, you might want to consider a major percentage move for your first sale, because it can oftentimes come into play like we see. So then you sell at 38, sell at 48, buy back at 33, sell at 50, 63, 81, buy at 58, 50, and it just continues on. Here's a sell up to 181. Sell 79. No, okay, now why did this make sense? How would that happen? Why would you sell at 79 and 81? Well, here's the deal. These two trades happened on the exact same period. We're at a buy order at 50 and a sell order at 79, and they happened together. That was like magnificent. You don't have to execute any more trades after that, because you got your buy and sell all together. But it just worked out that my next sell order hit again. I moved it up 2 basis points higher to 81 because it was a better resistance spot. But you sell 81, you sell 100, you sell 125, you sell 181. Buy back 115, buy back 87, sell 143, buy back 92, 71, and 57 after that. And sell 106. How did that happen? Well, it's all happened in one shot. One shot. The market hit all these Satoshi points and came right back to the 100 number. So I sold 2 of the orders, the 71 and the 57. I sold both of them. You buy 90,000 and then you unload 72,000. And then, of course, this one I'd wait for later. But there's a buy down here to 15 Satoshi. Will you wait for the next sell? 30. This was the lows from November, the 15 number. And then 30, 41, 53, 66, 83, 100. When you're in a situation like that, where you just bought at the lowest levels like ever, or pretty much matching of your lowest levels ever, and then you're selling up near the upper end where like you hardly ever are, which is price, you're always usually well below 100. But for you to instantly go from an extreme low point to this high point, that's marvelous. But you also realize when you're at this time frame, you say to yourself, where's the highest that I'm going to buy? I gave an example of like, okay, maybe I'll put an order in for 50, but I'll settle for 60. That type of move, that's where you want to, that's how you want to do it. So your portfolio, when it was all said and done, would have looked something like this. Now, this is 15. This was your net start. This was a few periods into it, or after you buy, all your bunch of buys were done. So 15 was the buy amount start. So for a lot of this situation, the market started off down, and then, no, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. Let me just figure this out here now. And basically what I need to do, and it didn't make, it was wrong. That was how much your DOGEs, only your doggies were worth. So that's why the market, that's why that would have been more of a choppy look. What I need to do, this is what the doggies would be worth, plus your Bitcoins spent and received. I would want to put this, multiply this by a larger number to get to like around 100. And now I'm going to paste this and see what the chart looks like again, because this is what the chart data comes from. Okay, so this is how your portfolio would be looking. It would have spent a lot of time, as you've seen in the first video, in negative territory, but then managing to make its way higher. Again, this doesn't look right though, because it was experiencing positive territory situations before. And we look at this via pure Bitcoin numbers. The line in the middle represents the break-even point. So below the line it was down, and above it was up, because as you see in the first video, it chopped back and forth from being up and down. It was usually up, as we can see in here. And therefore we can see that the 0.1 profit number came in here, and just a very volatile way your market can look, to go from 0.3 you were worth just trading this coin for quite some time, and then the big fall managed. And that's the thing I remember saying in that video originally, that oh my goodness, it's still up, you're buying at 15 and you're still profiting, because you found a way to ensure that worst case scenario, the worst you do is, if it goes to nothing, is you'd have a marginal loss. And the entire risk was always negative 15.5, so it never, that was, of course you were always buying more, so no, there was higher risk. But throwing that aside, you can see you're choppily moving this market long term in a big uptrend. So therefore, again, I like to emphasize whatever types of tricks you can do in strategy before making any executions, any game plans, and then just trade the strategy basically. I'm not even really offering anything. I'm just going over what I consider to be a very simple one. Because trading markets can be very difficult. Especially because it's a complex game. It can be more difficult than trying to maybe win in games like poker, where you got a whole bunch of sharks playing that game as well. But this just ensures that your buy-sell average is always going to work out, and long term, when you play this over multiple months and years, the gains you can receive can just be phenomenal from doing such. So thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.